I left church for the last time today. The sermons always make my eyes bleed. I'd pray if I could hear the preacher say, God is dead and so we will be one day. I recall God fondly. We named the streets after useless things. It was nice, we bonded on late nights, but I couldn't escape the feeling that I was hated. I never thought to ask, so let's just call me
All right. The acid text is so good. I agree with you, Cat Dog. Welcome. We're listening to Leah Swift's music right now as intro. If you throw into the chat ! Leah, and that's with 2 E's, links to her Instagram and her Bandcamp. This is from the album A Collection of Works in Progress. and I really enjoy these tracks. But you got a lot of things to choose from her Bandcamp, and we'll be talking a little bit about that later. Um, if you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Courtney Love. I am a variety streamer. The show that you're watching now is a talk show that I started back when I started streaming in September, and it's called Braving New Worlds. I've never read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, but I love the idea of creating new worlds through creativity, and doing that in this day and age, and especially during this time, is a brave act in and of itself. So we're talking to Leeah Swift tonight. My audio is being a tad funky. Oh, thank you for letting me know. It might be because I'm just running so many things at the same time. But let me know. I think I'm hearing it. It's like skipping a little bit, isn't it? It has been? Okay. Leah agrees.
To the point that what you're eligible, but
well, what I could do is do a quick restart, not on the stream, but of my voice meter. That's what I use. So I'm just gonna restart.
Okay.
Check one. I think that might have worked. All right. Without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our guest tonight. Leah, I met in college. We both attended Sarah Lawrence College together, and I think her influence on a lot of what I consume media-wise has been very impactful. And I've always enjoyed their company and all of the laughs that we had together. Me, her, and Double Libra, aka Evan, were very chummy. Triple threat trio, the Rage Brigade. So, without further ado, everyone, welcome Leah Swift. Hey, Leah, how you doing?
Hello, I am okay.
That's great. How was your
Good
day?
now that I'm here. It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was very bright out in Vermont. We hit what they call mud season.
Mud season.
Yeah, just giant piles of snow melting, and because we're in like rural Vermont, like it's not like a city where it's just a bunch of wet sidewalks, a fucking shitload of mud. But mud season is almost gone because
That's
all
good.
the snow is on.
Always great to hear. Yeah, it was a rainy day here in Chicago, so that means it was a little extra cold. That's why I'm wearing my my Bears sweater today.
You're wearing your Bears jersey? Sorry, your mic cut off after
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Bears sweater.
sweater.
My commemorative Bears sweater.
Yeah.
So
worn by
worn
the original real life bear.
Yeah, the first bear. Back in 1985 when he was
before he started
the Super Bowl
duplicating.
Shuffle. Riffing. We're the riff. Welcome to Riff Tracks, everyone.
Ugh. Never accuse me of being funny.
So Leah, I'd love to talk to you about a lot of your visual art, which I'm just so astounded by. I love its fluidity.
Yep.
I also love how some things are just so wacky, intricate, and exulting. I love the colors of it. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it on screen right now.
Those are real sad.
That's not what I'm looking for. Right here? No, that's you full screen. Give me one moment. This stuff happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Is it just coming up on the screen on Twitch? Or sorry.
No, it's my fault. I should have had this ready. I thought I did.
It's okay.
Lauren's here. Lauren Gray says, "I've been waiting for
Hi,
this all
Lauren
day.
Gray.
Sending my heart to you both. So
That's
happy to have you
that's
here."
that's ridiculous, but I appreciate it.
We're the main event.
uh, yeah,
We're the
of the Lauren
headliners to
Gray
everyone's
Bay.
day. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why it's not captioning here. This is so wild. I'm seeing it through my OBS, but for some reason it's not picking up. Come on, come on. Oh, I see. There we go. Perfect. No.
No.
All right. While I'm working on it, tell me about when you started drawing. What is your earliest memory with illustration?
Probably sometime in elementary school. I drew. My mom often joked that I was part of the email a day club or something like that, where she just got like notes about me because I was always drawing instead of like taking any notes or any attention whatsoever. I constantly had like giant stacks of printer paper, like
Mm-hmm.
confiscated from me by biology teachers.
Confiscated?
Be,
Really?
be, well, because I came in with absolutely no shame, like and like 100 sheets of printer paper, sat down in the front row of class, made no taking out my book, and was just like, okay, I'm gonna start like drawing this like story of like a mutant going on a mission for a king, and I like drew
Wow.
like half of one page, and Miguelski asked me to take it. So I've been drawing for a
For a long time. What sort of
yeah.
mediums did you start with? Was it just like colored pencils, mechanical
Um,
pencils?
yeah, it was mainly uh printer paper, printer paper with marker. I did have some like did have like a capital T like traumatic uh experience like related to drawing in school. I was in fourth grade and there was this whole long thing about like an assignment for science class we were asked to draw a scientist on this piece of poster board.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it was like the first time I had anybody who was in a sort of teacher position like condoning drawing. Like it was nothing but a problem
Mm-hmm.
before. Um, so I got super excited. I like went home and I drew like a mad scientist with like green hair and sharp teeth and like these little like incubation chambers that were taken straight from Pokemon the first movie. And there were like policemen rapping at the door and like it was a whole intricate drawing and I was so stoked about it because finally like my drawing like this thing that I just always did was like finally being called upon. And then the next day Miss Moen says how many people like drew beakers and nearly everybody raises their hand, like how many people drew lab coats and everybody raised their hand, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. If you drew any of these things, because she said a few more like stereotypically scientist-y things, I want you to take that black marker on your desk and draw a giant X through your drawing.
Oh
Like,
no.
and the point she was trying to make was there was one student in the front who had just drawn herself with a notepad, looking at butterflies outside. Um, and basically, Miss Moen was just like, she's the only one who got the point. You don't need any of this stuff to be a scientist. You can just be a scientist in your everyday. Um, and I have like a full scale melt the moment that she says this. Like I start screaming from the back of the class. I'm like, no, no, I'm not doing this. And I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs and like,
Mm-hmm.
and then she comes to the back of the classroom. She like forces the Sharpie in my hand and she drags my hand across my own drawing. um, uh, yeah, you shouldn't put your hands on a child. But
Mm-hmm.
like, um, but it was like a few experiences like that like kind of gave me this contradictory sense of like even when they tell you it's okay to draw, it's not okay to draw. But I mean, I couldn't like stop doing it in the margins of my notebooks and
Mm-hmm.
like I had a reputation in mainly in the early part of high school, but like it carried on as I always like covered my arms like completely in like mostly my forearm. Uh, like One time I even did like a 3-panel comic. I can't even remember what the hell was in the comic. I would just draw on my arm all the time.
That sounds
Um,
wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it was also just kind of stupid and teenage. I like one time that it had a really bad consequence was I was like delving into Metallica at like one point,
Hmm.
and my mom was like, "You're 15, you need to get a job." Like she didn't talk like that. She doesn't talk like that. But
Your mom is Roz from Monsters Incorporated.
Leah, you need to get a job. I'm watching you, Leah. Always watch. No, but she was just like, "This is the appropriate age when you can get like a work permit." And and I was going to interview at the local animal hospital. And my family had long had a relationship with them because of our cat. So it seemed like pretty much a shoe in. But I went in, and it was around the time I was like digging into Metallica, and as Metallica fans may know, the first Metallica album is called "Kill 'Em All." Now, what did teenage me write in like big Sharpie letters on my forearm?
Wow.
"Kill 'Em All." So, uh, I mean, school shootings are more frequent now than they were then, but it was still like something that was like creeping into the popular like national paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
So I like assumed that they were pretty on edge and not like thinking like, oh, this is just a teenager doing something stupid, but like rather like they gave me a call back and they were like, yeah, you had "Kill 'Em All" written on your arm. We don't want to like hire somebody who's gonna have stuff like that and our clients are gonna see it. Like
Did
they
you
might have
walked
mistaken
into
it
an
for a
interview
cat.
with them?
Yeah, I was fucking stupid. I was an idiot. Like I don't know. I just didn't like.
Let's hold
I
that thought.
yeah.
J Rogers 629 would like to say hi, Leah. Love from Brooklyn.
Oh, hi, Jordan. That's Jordan.
Well, Jordan, welcome to the stream. So happy to have you here. That is a wild memory you have there.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's definitely we need to talk about Kevin sort of conversation that your mother probably had with. You're not Kevin.
no,
You're not Kevin.
no. My mom like lost it on me. She
Oh
was just
no.
like, how could you have possibly like? And I mean, I totally understand. Like, I was just a fucking like thoughtless dum dum. So
Mhm. So,
I
talk about illustration today. Let's make the big jump.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Big jump.
Do you still try to tap into that joking aside? Like, what is your relationship with art now? And when you make an illustration, also have the art queued up, so you're going to be speaking for your
Okay.
own illustrations.
I feel like my joking tone is just inevitable. Like it's like one of the weirdest things about my personality as a person is that like uh when I'm being like I don't know like sarcastic or jokey, I take a normal tone of voice, but when I'm like trying to say something really like earnest and vulnerable, like I start talking in a voice like this or something like that to try to like make I don't know to try to make like ugly things more palatable. Sorry, how does that? Um, yeah, I think just by nature of like drawing and admiring so many like silly cartoons, like growing up, I uh just like silliness is like so intrinsic to drawing to me, even when you're like drawing like really rough scenario.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are really powerful um, captions within some of these illustrations as well. Like, I just shouldn't
yeah.
exist. When one is depressed, one is of many minds. I just shouldn't exist. And there's 4 heads on this one individual, which is
Yeah.
very evocative. Um, so, as this, um, as the ideas for these illustrations come to you, do, well, I guess what comes first? Is it the emotion or the feeling that you're trying to process, or does the illustration come first?
Um, yeah, it's usually the emotion, and uh, I don't know, like that. I just shouldn't exist drawing people. I mean, I think I probably could have. Uh, like it literally just started in a really depressed, uh, suicide adjacent state of. I think I was scribbling like
Mm-hmm.
4 circles with the word just shouldn't next. Yeah, usually my like approach to visual art is like it starts with like 1 or 2 marks on the paper or digital file or what,
Okay.
um that are purely like emotional and visceral marks. uh I put them down because I need to, and from point on it's making sense of the marks and making them comfortable. Like, I don't know, I drew a circle, like what is it going to gradually start, I don't know, like something default version 5.
I think I lost some of your
A lot
audio a
of
second there.
uh,
Could you
well,
repeat that? I'm
what
sorry.
when did what was
I think it was about like 10 seconds.
okay. Yeah, well, I just okay. So first marks on paper being very like visceral and just like "Gah!" like type of
Hmm.
moments, and then
Right.
trying to think about like what could these possibly be? How could I make them make sense? How can shapes comfortable? Like, um, uh, where, whereas a lot of like what I'm trying to learn in comics school, the Center for Cartoon Studies, where I go, White River Junction, Vermont, where I'm trying to get my MFA. Um, what I'm trying to really learn about is like approaching art with more attention. Uh, like obviously at like a certain point in the image making, I'm like being very intentional, but
Hmm.
um, coming at a blank paper with intention is something that's a bit newer for me.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Well,
Does that answer your question
it
well?
does. Yeah,
Or was
very much so. Brimothy would like to say that I'm in love and resonating with this art. So I think
oh
whether or
shit,
not the intention
what?
is there or not, it is making an impact with the people that are viewing it. Um, and it definitely made an impact for me when I started seeing it. Um, and and it didn't, you know, when people usually hear the words that are written in some of your illustrations, they find it distressing or um, maybe it makes them feel uncomfortable. But
Yeah,
for me, it's like when I try to process thoughts like these, I think of it as healing. I think of it as getting better, because even when I do think about this stuff, like if someone were to ask me, like, how's your day going? And I'm thinking about some of this stuff, I would say I'm getting better every day.
yeah, yeah. It like something that my therapist had said, like because I went through these like also these 2 kind of fucked up events this fall, like right after an old uh transport died. Then 2 or 3 weeks later, my roommate had a psychotic. Just a bunch of really rough and draining stuff.
Right.
But I was having a lot of trouble with figuring out how to like interact with people like in my class who were like, let me know if you need anything, and I'm just like a big like gaping wound, and like
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how to tell you it's just horrible, and it's like not gonna get better for a little bit, and I
Right.
can't like answer the question how are you the way that you want me. Like
Mm-hmm.
uh but what my therapist said to me was generally pe- people want you to be doing well, like so um that can create this like expectation, which is how we have like all these interactions of like, how are you? Good or fine. Like good and fine are like the only two acceptable like answers to that question generally,
Right.
according conversation. I don't really know his work very well, but there's a stand-up comedian named Tom Segura.
I love Tom.
Yeah, my I only have watched one stand-up special of his, Ball Hog. It's so good. But my sister and brother-in-law fucking love Tom Segura. And because he just has a bit where he accidentally gets like roped into like a conversation he didn't sign up for with a complete stranger,
Yeah.
where he just says like, how are you, and like the stranger answers honestly and
Mhm.
like gives details about their life, and like Tom Segura is like, there are only two acceptable answers to how are you. And like good, and like if you feel like killing yourself, it's fine. There's good and fine. Those are the only two acceptable answers. Like, no, but that was all a long tangent-y way of saying that I totally understand the impulse of like getting better every day. Like especially when you're going through like a particularly bad like period of your life. Like I'm in a, like, irrespective of the pandemic, like I'm like going through a really like shifting ground under my feet, like type of moment in my life that's just involving a lot of suffering, but it's also I don't know. I'm trying to invest in like work that is going to serve healing. The results will show. It's
I love that.
but
The results will show.
yeah, I mean, we're
Yeah.
like, it's such like an old fucking cliche that we only imagine to be like said by like creepy people in cornfields, but like you reap what you sow. Like uh I mean, not always. Like sometimes you sow and sow and sow and somebody else reaps, or
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Well,
It's yeah, it's an aphorism. It's not to hold up under science.
right. And getting back to what you said about like you understanding where I'm coming from by saying like I'm getting better every day, because it's like I want to be as honest as I can without actually starting a conversation, because I don't know if I actually want to talk about this, how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because anything besides those two answers that Tom says are the acceptable forms of response, is an invitation to converse. Like, wouldn't it? Because if you're gonna leave me with like, I'm not doing well, then I am therefore like I'm not a good person if I don't ask you what's making you but, and then there's an entirely different sort of way you're supposed to treat something like that when you're a Twitch streamer and someone says it in your chat, right? Because if someone's saying I'm having a bad day, people don't normally like respect if like you're giving unsolicited advice. So you know what, as a Twitch streamer, you just say like, you know what, that fucking sucks that you're having a bad day, and then you move on.
I mean, it's just like every like fucking sitcom episode where a heterosexual man learns empathy for the first time. Are you familiar with this? Like I feel like it's a common trope in like sitcoms where there's an episode where a woman in a heterosexual relationship is really distraught, and like the man doesn't help her, and all it like ends up in is like some third act thing where some group of people says, listen, all you have to say to her is, that really fucking sucks, I'm sorry. And then like their relationship heals because this like man has been taught to like just
listen
validate
and just like not
validate
about
feelings
himself.
for the first time. Like yeah. And I mean like for what it's worth, it like the I mean every relationship is very specific, but uh there is like this certain way in which like men are I mean you could say this is for any number of reasons, sociological, blah blah blah, but where men are made to feel like they need to fix things, like or they like react to something immediately to like change or deal with it. So like say in this like scenario where a man doesn't know how to say that really fucking sucks, I'm sorry. Like I'm assuming what's happening in slow motion, girlfriend is saying I have problem, and boyfriend being like it is now my personal emotional mission to eliminate this problem. Like I mean that's of course best case scenario. Some men are like much more aloof and just like well good luck with that. Like but
yes. I can't remember the name of the actor, but the person in the movie Holes, who's like I could
Shia
fix
LaBeouf?
that. No, I think not Shia LaBeouf.
Oh,
No.
is the guy who fucking played Zero. Are you talking about that guy?
No, we're talking about the guy in the flashback who was
Oh yeah. Who kissing Kate Barlow's the man she loved who got killed and the reason that she became kissing Kate Barlow. Yeah.
Oh, it's going back to you, isn't it?
Sam. I think his name was Sam.
Sam is the pillar
Yes.
of heterosexual cis
Yeah, because
masculinity.
Yeah, he sold her canned
peaches,
and that was the
secret
that
sauce.
was the little bit of that was the little bit of food that like Zero and Stanley were able
what a story.
Yeah.
Sam LG was like Sam. Yes, yeah. Sam. How could we forget?
Yeah.
So
and fucking Henry Winkler's in that movie. Every movie that Henry Winkler is in is automatically an Academy Award winner, whether the Academy chooses to recognize.
Everyone. So I guess in the caption for the YouTube video, I'll have to say that you'll need to watch Holes before you watch this interview.
Required reading.
It's required reading.
Disney's live action adaptation of Holes.
Sam. His name was Sam.
Yeah, his name was Sam, right?
Yeah. No,
like,
just sounding off in the chat. I just love that. Right in between us on the screen on Twitch is just the caption, Sam. His name was Sam. Holes. I'm
not sure if this is true. Part of me wants to say that Holes was the last movie that Eartha Kitt ever made, but
oh no,
that Eartha Kitt was ever in. But I don't.
Madame Zeroni.
I think I'm just no. I'm making that up. Holes was 2003. I mean, she did only like 3 movies after Holes. She did something called Preaching to the Choir. She came back and reprised her role as Yzma in the straight to VHS Kronk's New Groove.
Oh, a classic, an instant classic.
Classic. And that was in 2005, and then her last film role was in a movie called Then Came 7.
Have you heard about the travesty that happened to the animator of Emperor's New Groove and how it was supposed to be?
No, but pretty much everything that happens to most animators is tragic. Yeah, continue. Yeah.
But it was supposed to be this beautiful Incan story with a bunch of like actual like depictions of the Incan mythology and involved.
Like it was going to be much more like grounded in real world iconography.
Yeah,
like kind of
or the of like
kind of Moana-esque in that like Moana was like informed by a shitload of research. Though the island of Motunui is a fictional island. So it was supposed to be a bit more of a project like that.
Yeah, it
And
was supposed to be that sort of approach.
okay.
And there was a lot of like preliminary sketches that are available in this like one YouTube video. I can't remember who showed it to me, but it was just fantastic stuff. But we had to go the David Spade route.
Yeah, I mean, there just wasn't. I mean, I would guess there just wasn't like a political, artistic sort of climate that would them begin to like give a shit.
Yeah, I think it was
as-
before Fahrenheit 9/11 or Inconvenient Truth came
or,
out.
I don't think either of those films had anything to do with that. I'm
Just
more
arbitrary
mean
dogs.
that
That was the that
was like-
started the age of boundaries.
It's just when like Tumblr users started graduating college, and then Disney was like, "Oh, we can't like make movies about minstrel shows anymore."
Yeah,
Come on, man! It's 1999.
get with the times.
Get with the times. It's the 90s.
So I'd love to start talking about music with you.
Yeah.
You have a lot of projects available on Bandcamp. Can you tell me about your latest project and your relationship with music?
Okay, so my relationship with music, I started playing guitar when I was 12, like played in a metal band with a really inappropriate name. We were called the Cunt Wipes. Um, uh, there was one time we were trying to get on a bill, and I like told the our name, and he was like, "You're fucking kidding me, right?"
That's genius. I gotta sign you now.
No, he was like, "I'm just gonna put you on the bill as the CW," which
The
which
CW.
was like, yeah, like we really fucking like Smallville. But so there was that, and then I started like getting into punk in high school, and I towards the latter part of high school, and I was playing in a punk band called Black Army Faction. There are no music files of it online. I have a external hard drive that's waiting at a computer shop. And it might be on. And then I went to Sarah Lawrence. I was in the music program. I'll be honest, and I feel a lot of regret about this. I kind of half-assed a lot of parts of my education. I really kind of like slipped under the wire there. There was actually a required class in the music program that I managed to weasel out of taking because I just heard it was such a fest, and I fall asleep in really exciting classes. So I knew I had no. It was like survey of Western music. Like, I don't want to learn about that. Like, but so my main like experience in the music department was getting really stoked on the music theory professor Pat Muchmore, and then in the last 2 years, or in, I guess like 2.5 years, I started focusing on ethnomusicology, which is like most quickly described just like study of music from other like non-Western cultures, which there is a whole like conversation to be had about that pretext of like why does all music that's not Beethoven get put in the category of ethnomusicology instead of being the music of the fucking world. And there's so many conversations we had about how world music is marketed, and I mean, all of it usually ends up at just Western imperialism fucking ruined the world daily.
You had it there, folks.
Fucked up.
You have it here first.
like fucked up and absurd concept. So, but yeah, a lot of that just involved listening and doing really in-depth readings of a lot of books about music from all over the world. including the United States, involved playing musical ensembles like the stereotype of a liberal arts college. I confess, I played in the African drum. I mean, it was West African Ghanaian. We were taught by a man named Diaba. You either played a djembe or a balafon, which is like wooden xylophone, so like a xylophone type.
Okay.
Typically found in West Africa. And I really had it in my mind that I wanted to like do this ethnology thing. Like I was going to go to grad school after undergrad, but I'm ultimately glad I didn't, because if I was like as old as I am now, got out of like only just got out of like learn academia, like it would have been only getting out of it like maybe 2 years ago, or maybe I would still be writing and just in the end it didn't. I did go to a Society for Ethnology annual in Pittsburgh after I graduated in November 2014, and some moment that really stuck in my mind was there was a panel on ethics and ethnomusicology, and a lot of people were talking about like collaborative approaches to like. There was this guy named Keeney who had written a book, Second Brass, New Orleans, and he just shared how much of a collaborative process the book was, like, because he gave multiple drafts of the manuscript to the musicians he was interviewing and writing about, okay. As well as like a local artist in New Orleans, like through the interstitial illustrations, and point is the whole thing was about ethics. And just during the Q&A session, somebody said like, yeah, we all care about ethics, but at the end of the day, like we gotta meet our deadline or something like that, like, or was like trying to do this like slightly self-effacing, like I half mean this, half don't, like type of comment. But I just had a moment where I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to immerse myself in a field where, as like a white kid who like grew up in the suburbs and went to a liberal arts college, all of a sudden, like I am like on a path to be a trusted authority, like on a music and life that I don't have. Like, I can't do that. And I did have this moment that I really regret. There's this woman named Carol Silverman. She is an academic. I don't know her specific focus. There was just I did a lot of research on Balkan music and Romani music and Romani diaspora. She wrote a book, Romani Roots, which was just immensely helpful to like what I was talking about. And we had like met a few times, and like we like got really angry about like cultural appropriation in music together, and just like this like short Jewish really like excited and very like embodied by like all her ideas. And just at some point at the ethnomusicology conference, she asked me, so like what do you think you're gonna like do next or whatever? And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do ethnomusicology anymore. It's just like too colonial or like whatever, like which is such a bullshit thing to say. Like I can still like kind of remember fragments of the image of her face just being like, we've had so many smart conversations. Because I don't know, saying something like that fails to recognize, like, regardless of what academic field of study I go into or what I do with my life, like, colonial power structures are still existing. Like, I mean, I'm glad I didn't go straight into academia and got more of a sense of a non-academia world, because those things can become very insular and polarized world. and
Right.
I'm
But there,
yeah.
there. I mean, there is
Sorry,
something to be.
that was
No, that was.
like
I appreciate the
yeah.
answer. Just want to give a quick shout out to Carmody. Hey, welcome to the chat. Ronnie Rat King says hi, Leah. I love you. Welcome,
Oh, hi,
Millie.
Alexa.
Welcome to the chat. I am in conversation with Leeah Swift, a cartoonist and musician based out of Vermont. We met over at Sarah Lawrence, and we we have our experiences with academia, and we're talking about that now.
Yeah.
Specifically talking to the experience that Leah had with ethnomusicology and making that a concentration or a field of study. So when you learned that that wasn't going to be your focus, where did you see yourself transitioning towards? Was it more music, more of illustration?
I mean, honestly, what happened was uh, during a summer road trip, actually with Double Libra. Um, uh, I had visited Minneapolis, Minnesota, and became really infatuated with the city. And I think because of a combination of like me starting the process of trans um and like kind of reeling from the I'm gonna do this ethnomusicology thing, just like wanting to fucking run away. Like I moved to uh, Minneapolis. I didn't really have a moment of like conscious decision. I was just emotional and impulsive, and I was just like, I'm gonna move to Minneapolis. It's a great place. Like they're all everybody's nice, and it's a totally uncomplicated niceness, and it's not gonna bite me in the ass at all. Like
Yes.
but no, I spent the best years of my early 20s as an East Coaster in like when I could have been fucking growing or doing shit. I just went to the Midwest where I learned about that Minnesota nice shit and had multiple like just breakdowns being like, why won't they just tell me they're mad at me?
Oh no. Well, I guess
like I
even
yeah.
those tough times feel like
There's a good
necessary, right?
yeah. I mean there's like I believe that like Midwest nice it has a practical reason why it was developed. I think especially in such like a frigid part of the country, where you experience these like extreme temperatures, like what you want to do is, or I think the conflict averseness might be with the idea of like, I don't want to do anything that could possibly even begin to like fracture my relationships, so I will still have these people I know when shit goes to -30 and like I need somebody to help me jumpstart my car. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Drive
like,
to the airport,
yeah,
pick you up from the airport, fix your tire.
yeah, like
That sort of stuff.
the yeah, the Midwest nice has benefits, like, but it's
That triple A of
also
best
kind of
friends. So
um,
tell us about some of the songs that you're going to be playing tonight. Are we going to hear any of the themes that we
um,
just talked about?
uh, yeah, I guess. Well, the main songs that I was like practicing today are actually ones that there aren't any recordings for. They're just I like recorded them once just as like kind of a visceral like emotional expression into my like voice memos on my phone, like a few scattered times throughout the, like months since I recorded them. I've just like listened to voice memos about them doesn't and then I just like really like taught myself how to play uh, last night and today.
Whoa.
Yeah, so these songs are that I haven't played for anybody.
I feel honored that you're premiering them on the
Yeah,
stream. All right.
yeah.
Roll the background music. I'll throw you on the big screen. You ready to go?
Yeah. Ugh, I guess so. No, it's okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, this first one is called Dupe. D-U-P-D. Annie. Ah. I definitely didn't take singing classes in the music. Sorry. Anyone, anyone who looks down on those who have been duped probably ain't been duped before. These are well-built traps, ornate, created with lots of thought, and we fall in just like we're intended to. Haven't you ever dreamed to the night sky? I just want someone to hold me. I don't care who. If you look down on those who've been duped, you've never needed anything before. I'm just gonna assume. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think we had a little bit of a technical difficulty during the song.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, we got most of your voice, but we didn't get any of the piano hardly. It was one of those things since like
None of the piano?
the
Fuck
piano was
me.
coming through when you're singing. That's one of the things where it's like if
But
you're playing like
but not when I wasn't saying?
yeah, when you weren't singing,
Or
the piano wasn't getting picked up. But that's because it's like coming through.
it
It's like
must
getting picked up from the microphone. It's like you didn't have an extra thing connected to
it,
it.
it must have
Um,
been
it was great to listen to. I had a fun time. I'm sure the people at
yeah,
having
I
fun too.
I mean, yeah, like a lot of if I ever like spend time like changing my recordings, I'm always just like make skipping CD. So if anything, I will probably think it sounds better because of
um,
I'm really an asshole like that.
does Leah have any noise cancellation on her end? That's a good question, actually. Leah, you're on Discord right now, right?
Should we go back to that
Yeah, let's go
thing
back to
and just
voice and video settings. Doing some
completely
live
turn off?
troubleshooting.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll go
I'll just
back.
like completely turn off that noise canceling.
Yeah, if
Um,
there's noise cancellation, echo
or
cancellation.
the input sensitivity thing.
Yeah, so the input
Or
sensitivity, that's
should
off.
I not use that?
No, keep that one. Keep
Or
that one
no,
off.
it's not off. The slider is in the middle,
It's in the middle. I think that
and
should be fine.
my voice keeps on going beyond it. So
Oh, well then maybe yeah. Let's slide it to the right. Maybe let's see what that does.
slide it to the right.
Yeah.
Okay. This is
Yeah, I'm not hearing any of that. That's wild. All right, let's do it all the way to the left.
Okay. This is a last song. Can you
Oh,
hear
we
the
did it.
piano when I'm not? Yeah?
Yeah, that's way better.
Okay, great. I'm so sorry that that song got ruined. Oh man,
That's
that was the best
okay.
performance
That's
I've done
okay.
of that song.
If you want to do it again, let's take it again from the top.
Uh, I mean, do people want to hear it again?
Jay Rogers says, as
Oh,
always, love your voice. The noise
um,
cancellation, think all non-speech is noise. One time I played an epic organ solo that nobody heard.
wait, who played the epic organ solo? Was it Lauren
Maria
Gray?
Capito.
Oh, Maria Caputo. Okay, I'm stoked that Maria Caputo's tuned in. What the fuck?
Yeah, we got
How do I get out of it? Yeah,
10
I
viewers
got
so
mad.
far.
Got mad Sarah Lawrence peeps.
Yeah, it's a real
Um,
reunion right now.
yeah, God, I haven't used the word peeps in like 3 years. Anyway,
Welcome back to the cultural lexicon.
um,
So what do you feel? I'm
I mean, I
comfortable listening
don't.
to that song again, and or we can move on to the
Yeah.
next song. What do you want to do?
Okay. I mean, it's short. Yeah, I'll do it again.
Yeah, I
I'll
would
do it
love to
again.
hear it again. Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay. Fucking.
You can find Leah's music on Bandcamp.
like fucking, like that fucking fine. Like I'm being forced to do it. God, you're such an
Fine.
asshole, Liam. Fucking fine. Like, Leah, stop being such a shithead. Anyway, yeah, this song's called "Duped." It's a
You're listening
about
to
brainwashing.
Dupe by Leah Swift.
Duped.
Dupe.
Past tense.
Dupe.
Okay. Anyone, anyone who looks down on those who have been duped probably ain't been duped before. These are well-built traps. They're created with a bunch of thought, and we fall in just like we're intended to. Have you never screamed to the night sky? I just want someone to hold me. I don't care who. If you look down on those who've been duped, I'm gonna assume you've never needed anything. Yeah, that solo was not as good as the last one that didn't get captured because of noise cancellation.
I love
Hey,
it. Especially
such
love
the
the end
nature
of
of fate. Yeah.
All right. Do you have another one for us?
Yeah. Uh, I have like two more of these ones that were like split second voice memo things that I just practiced today. Um,
If you
I'll
if
play
it's
this one.
this next one is going to be on piano, feel free to bump up the volume if you'd like, just a little bit.
Bump up the volume?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that pumped up enough?
Oh, I could feel it in my
Or is
bones.
that too much?
I can feel
You
it
can
in my
feel it in
bones,
your
kid.
bones? Okay. Okay. Yeah, this one, every time I've like performed it, it just comes to like 1 minute long. So this one will be quick, and then I think I'll do another quick one. And yeah. Okay. I'll be honest, I didn't take in everything Ellie had to say, but I snapped right to it when she took those books out of her case. I wasn't sure what they were gonna have to say. I just cared about the way the fish felt on my hands. So I held the book and I hugged it. I held the book and I hugged it. I held the book. Then I bought it. I never read it, but I still touch it time to time. I still touch it time to time. Yeah.
Love it. You're tuned in to Bring New Worlds. We're interviewing Leeah
where we
Swift.
say, fuck books.
Fuck books.
No, that's not true.
My mom said fuck books today when she put a bunch of books that she didn't need anymore into a cardboard box, many of which were mine and gifted.
God, the amount of space taken up on respective bookshelves that I've had by books that I've never been fucking opened.
That's the reality of it. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose so. I can play the other somewhat short song.
Wonderful. And then are you cool with answering a few questions, and then we can wrap up the stream?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay. Okay. Sorry. There is a lot of things different that my friends say that what I got. I might is your guess. Maybe PTSD or depression. 3 friends known me for a while. Thought it was plausible I might have autism. I called one of them up and told her that I thought I might be a narcissist. But after her time spent in online communities for survivors of narcissistic abuse, she felt confident enough to say that I wasn't. But what is it? What is it? What I got? What is it? What is it? What I got? What is it? What is it? What I got? What is it? What is it? What I got? Yeah, that one was hard to figure out what the fuck to do with.
That would make an excellent EDM track. If it isn't what the
Yeah,
what I
like
want,
because
what I got.
yeah, like after the kind of like arrhythmic like talky
It's
intro,
right after. It's right before
moment,
the drop.
the
It's the
moment
bridge
that
to the
like
drop.
yeah, it's like the what I got or like some shit like that.
Yeah,
I
some
don't know.
flume shit.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
I'd love to ask, and this is to go back to your illustration. What are some of your biggest
yeah.
influences when it comes to the work that inspires you?
Um uh there was this one run of the Venom comic in 2003. Um
Yes.
uh uh it was written by Daniel Way. The illustrations that I really liked were drawn by this guy named Francisco Herrera. When I showed the comic to one of my professors, he said, "Oh, this is obviously influenced by and like his name I obviously have not remembered. So like that person is probably a bigger influence, but that particular Venom comic had a huge impact on me. I drew a lot of like Dragon Ball Z like drawings in like elementary school and shit. Uh, Another huge influence on me was my friend Palmer Foley, who I've known since high school, and we've remained friends. She just used to draw like a bunch of like she would draw like Sharpie portraits of her friends, as well as like Sharpie portraits of like significant like anarchist thinkers and like anarchist revolutionaries, as well as communist thinkers and communist revolutionaries. And she was extremely influential on my visual aesthetic. Um, uh, Things that have inspired me in recent years, I'd have to say, um, someone who served as my in like a mentor capacity for me was this cartoonist named Caitlin Skullrood, who lives out in Minneapolis and is getting her own MFA right now. She has this amazing book called Houses of the Holy. It's if you want comics that are poetry, read this shit. It's spectacular. I mean, there's like some kind of gore adjacent imagery, but like it's so like visceral and amazing. So she had a huge influence on. Um, there was a point at which I was literally just like tracing different like screenshots from episodes of Steven Universe. So like that kind of like character design, the pervasive like Cal Arts like design had its effect on me. I kind of try to sidestep it a little bit, but there's no going around it. And as ashamed as I am to say, given its like edge lord cultural like status, Rick and Morty was really like influential on me when I like decided in like 2016 that I was like gonna do this comics thing. Um, uh, I mean, I think that there were a lot of people who disapprove of Rick and Morty now who really liked it in the earlier seasons, because like the show kind of got full of itself and has a lot of weird reactionary politics. Like I don't know, Dan Harmon is really fascinated with fascism in a way that doesn't necessarily make me think he hates it as much as he says he does.
Okay.
But that's a deep analysis of somebody's work. Yeah. I don't know. There are any number of amazing cartoonists out there. Rosemary Valero O'Connell is fucking amazing. She just put out these 3 short stories in a book called "Don't Go Without Me." She also had Caitlin serve as like somewhat of a mentor to her. But she is far more talented than I am. Holy shit! Like, just yeah, I cannot recommend Rosemary's comics enough. Ben Passmore is like an amazing cartoonist. He wrote one of the more popular comics that has come out somewhat recently, called Your Black Friend. Have you heard about this?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing comic. There was also like an animated version of it made that
Yes, that's the one I'm familiar with.
Ben Passmore like did but it started out as a comic.
Okay.
I like particularly love Ben because like a lot of his cultural roots, as it were, are in like kind of like dirty punk culture and shit like that, and like and just like burnt out anarchists like doing wacky shit, and it's like simultaneously gross but like silly, and like he's a huge influence on me when it comes to this whole like maintaining silliness when even like talking about like super serious topics. The project that he's currently working on, which everybody should be super stoked to get a fucking copy of, is it's called Black Hands That Hold You Up, and it's going to be a graphic history of Black American armed revolutionaries. It's so good. He like recently made a little comic, of him talking with W.E.B. Du Bois, and figuring out that though he's like cast in the historical light or the public imagination as like more of a non-violent guy, he has some direct quotes where he says like, if a white man like steps on my lawn, I'm gonna like fucking shoot him. That's an extreme paraphrasing. Go to Ben Passmore's comic. Do not quote me on that. Like extreme,
Yeah,
like
it
extremely.
sounds like a Rick Fox lyric. Is that his name? Rick
Yeah,
Fox?
yeah. Rick Fox? I don't know.
Is it no? What's the guy's name? The guy. He's
sounds like an animal named Rick.
No. It's this one rapper / comedian who's like very active on Twitter, but also did a collab with. I don't know if you know who Kenny Beats is, but he's got this one rap where the hook is like, "Cause I got depression." Is like, I'm gonna dip my balls in Thousand Island dressing. Because I got depression. I want to crash a car into white-owned businesses. You gotta listen to that track. It's so good.
Yeah. The only comedy rapper I'm aware of is Little Dicky.
Little Dicky. Okay.
Yeah. His FX show is interesting.
I haven't watched it. What's the show?
It's called Dave. It's just about a fictionalized version of himself.
Okay.
Yeah, he calls himself Little Dicky because he has a deformed penis that he talks about all the time. Because I mean, when you have something like that is like an unchangeable part of your life that is like just not normal. Like, how else are you going to deal with it except for just fucking talking about it all the time? Like,
absolutely.
He literally just has a song called "My Dick Sucks." And like the hook on it is just like, my dick sucks, my dick sucks, my dick sucks.
So at the beginning of the show, when I introduced you, I said that you made a big impact in the my musical taste, and that's because you showed me the band My Dick. Do you remember that band?
Oh my god, yeah. I was wondering what you thought that impact was. I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Kurt introduced me to more stuff than I introduced Kurt to.
I
feel
like listening to that band was just like, okay, so we're like,
I mean,
we're a really talented musician. We're gonna make really good covers of this song, but we're also gonna put this really irreverent take on all of your hit music. I feel like if I didn't listen to My Dick, I wouldn't appreciate Neil C.C. Rega. Do you know Neil C.C. Rega?
I'm familiar with the name, but I'm not familiar enough with his work. I've like seen his name all over the place. Like
Smash Mouth mashups with all your revered songs, like Imagine by John Lennon, Float On by Modest Mouth, but it's all Smash Mouth.
Yes, that's perfect.
You know, I would look at it as that's just an ironic piece, but it's a great piece nonetheless.
For context for people who are unable to gather, My Dick was this thing that was made on Bandcamp. It was, I believe the album was called My Dick Full Length Double Album or something like that. Some dick joke. Um, and it's 20 tracks, all of which are covers of popular songs where every line or every other line, one of the words is replaced with the words "my dick," um, uh, except for "Ironic" by Alanis Morissette. They just changed every single word into "my dick," which I feel like was a lost opportunity. Um, there, there are uh, there are really most of them are very skippable. Like you get the point, like
Yes.
by the first 3 seconds. But like the two ones that I continue to return to um, over the years are their rendition of "Dancing in the Dark" called
Yes.
"Dancing in My Dick." Um, uh,
What is my favorite line? You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without my
no
dick.
fire without my dick.
This dick's
This
for
goes for
hire.
hire, even if we're just standing in my dick or dancing in my dick. Um, there's a joke. There's a joke there somewhere. My dick's on me. Toss my dick off my shoulder. Come on, baby, my dick's on me.
And then there's I think
And then
is
there's
it
the
My Kiss
there,
by Hall and Oates? Oh, yeah. What's the other favorite one?
no. The other favorite one is. I mean, I actually don't return to this one as much because like
Mm.
there's no way that it just like doesn't feel like a blasphemous disrespect to like listen to this. But he did a version of Fast Car
Oh
by
yes.
Tracy
Oh, it's
Chapman
so
called
good.
Fast
It's
Dick.
so good.
Like it's way more funny than it has any right to be, and like you're so like guilty while you're listening. You feel so guilty while you're listening to it because you're like, this is like a really like this source material is like a really like poignant, like well developed song about like the nature of like addiction and intergenerational like poverty and like the way poverty is a trap and like but it's so funny when he says, "And your dick felt nice wrapped around my shoulder." um, when he does the convenience store verse, he is uh uh you got a fast dick. I got a dick that pays all our bills. Been working at the My Dick store, and I've been working at the market as a checkout girl. It's like the one line where he doesn't replace any of the words with "my dick." Um, uh, you got a fast dick. I got a dick that'll get us out of here. Um,
I think the most important part of it is that these are really good renditions. Like the
yeah,
musicianship
they
is
are
there.
super well arranged, very tight.
Mhm.
Like, dude was like clearly like a music student who was just like, I don't want to analyze Schubert this week, like or some shit, and just made like 20 songs of him saying "my dick" over and over. Um,
Aced it.
uh,
Nailed the
Jesus,
audition.
yeah.
So that's a great segue into me asking you, what are your greatest musical influences?
All of that question cut out when you said it.
Um, Sorry. My question is that, or what I said was that is a great segue into me asking you, what are your greatest musical influences?
Greatest musical influences. Well, probably a few. Like something I really miss is when you got to like make a MySpace page for a band,
Mm-hmm.
and like part of the like one of the sections that they had like under like location, genre, all that stuff was influences. It was whenever they got to show
Yes.
off. Like,
Right.
but probably realistically, like just interpreting what my sound ends up sounding like. I Evan and I were really into Jonathan Richman around the same time. I think he got into Jonathan Richman before me. He showed me Jonathan Richman. So Jonathan Richman is like a huge influence in my approach to like earnestness and Um, uh, I hate when I get like compared to him because I feel like it's just a passive way of people calling me stupid.
What?
No,
I
no, I'm
always
not
take
talking
that.
about I'm not talking about Jonathan Richman.
Mhm.
I was saying this as a segue into the next person, but Daniel Johnston. I get like compared to Daniel Johnston a lot.
Oh, okay.
Uh, which I like. I get what they're saying, but
Hmm.
like also like whenever somebody says that, I feel like they have like some uninterrogated
It's a
uh,
backhanded compliment, you think?
preconceptions about mental illness. Like
Oh,
one
I
time
see.
I played a set in an apartment in Ditmas Park, Brooklyn, um, and I did play a Daniel Johnston cover. To be fair, he had
Mhm.
just died like that week, uh, and this guy was like talking to me after the set. Like, I mean, he really liked it, but but he was like, "Yeah, I mean, I love Daniel Johnston. Like Daniel Johnston, like just those singers with like that." And he started doing this like helicopter motion around his head.
Oh
Like
my god.
issues, like
Mhm.
or something like that. And I was just like, "Thanks." But so I mean, Daniel Johnston is definitely an influence. This band that I used to like follow around a lot called the World Inferno Friendship Society,
Mhm.
huge influence. Most people who knew me for the first like 24 years of my life, like a good impression that they could do of me is just saying the name of that band because I would never shut up about them. Um,
You even
uh,
booked them. You booked them for a show.
yes, I did. Yes, I did. Oh, that was such a good show. Oh, that was the perfect way to cap off my senior year. Um, because they have a song called "The Zen and the Art of Breaking Everything in This Room," and the chorus to that song is uh, "Pirates and bank robbers, not lawyers or CEOs. Uh, stockbrokers ain't no heroes." So before they played that song, um, the lead singer, who is like notable for his like in between song banter, which has gotten worse as time goes on because he's continued to abuse drugs and he's in his 50s and he just needs to fucking get sober. Um, Nobody tell him I said that, or you can tell him it's whatever. He's so stuck in it. But like before they played that song, he was like, "I'm here to tell you, at the most expensive college in America, uh, uh, bank robbers and pirates, yes, like lawyers and CEOs, no." And then they started playing it. Uh,
So good.
as much of a fuck as he is, Nick Cave is a huge influence on me. Amy Winehouse, who I have a poster of over there, is a huge influence on me. Um, Janelle Monáe. Uh, um, I haven't done like a super deep dive into the discography of Serpents with Feet, but every time I hear a Serpents with Feet song, I'm just like, this is like fucking amazing. And is totally something like what I want to do. Uh, yeah. Um,
That's great.
yeah. That's about as many as I can think of right now. There are probably more, but
That's awesome. Leah, I
yeah,
am so happy to have gotten this time to catch up with you, to share your
yeah.
work with the Twitch audience and the Twitch stream. I'm so happy that people who came in tonight came by. This is like an A Space show. Yeah, we got about like 15, 20 people in and out. There were s'mores.
Yeah.
There were laughs. Good times had by all. Um,
There were finger severings,
yeah.
um, breakups.
So, last question I'll ask you is,
Yeah.
if there's an artist, someone who's creatively inclined out there, who's going through perhaps a difficult time, any sort of words of advice in terms of
Oh God.
producing creative
Um,
work or using creativity as a way to deal with what
I
they're
don't
going
know.
through?
Yeah, it's really it's hard because like the whenever anybody's asked this question, like um, more often than not, they get the most unhelpful answer in the
Hmm.
world, which is just do it. But uh,
Yeah, cut the bullshit.
like
Give us the real
yeah,
answers.
like yeah. So I don't want to say just do it, but um, I don't know. Like uh, words of encouragement maybe like let things be messy, um, let things be gross and be bad. Um, the the only way that like if you're putting yourself under some sort of pressure to like create this incredibly like poignant apt like piece of art, whether it's like visual or audio, like um just know that it never comes like straight out of somebody like that, um and you just have to uh suck at something for a long time before you get good.
Mhm.
And even people who have been doing different artistic practices for decades feel days where they feel like a complete fraud. Um, so,
Mhm.
um, and there's probably some bigger thing to say about uh, the kind of specific, like precarious position that like art has in the public imagination, and also the ways that like capitalism has made us like really um, focus on work that can uh, like have monetary benefits, like
Right.
rather than just something that is like a huge thing that stuck with me um, from like my time uh, like concentrating on ethnomusicology. Um, I mean, this can probably also I can probably also answer the influences question a little bit better with this too. Um, I don't know. I have a huge paranoia just about because I performed in all of these like non-Western ensembles, like the degree to which even if I'm trying to be very purposeful about like not doing like any cultural appropriation stuff, there is something to be said about just like kind of having things embodied because you have done them or spent a lot of time practicing them.
Mhm.
So I have to be really hyper aware about that. Actually, that doesn't answer the current question at all. But the main thing that stuck with me from ethnomusicology is that especially in the West and in the United States, we have uh, a lot of these. I mean, this comes with a lot of like the advent of recorded music. Too, we have the like these ideas of songs very um, separated from like social context, um, or not entirely, but just but I would say the simplest way that I can phrase what I'm trying to say is just that art is a thing that humans do, and it's just a thing that they do to make sense of the lives that they live.
Mhm.
And um, by holding yourself to any sort of metric of um, of like quality or anything like that, you are you are doing yourself a disservice to the truth of your work. Um,
Wow.
uh, um, because yeah, I think like I mean, unless you really fucking hate doing art, if you like don't do some sort of like artistic thing, like you are denying yourself like that section of your like emotional humanity, and it doesn't have to be like recordings that you sell, and it doesn't have to be
Mhm.
like drawings that like you have hung or printed in a book or like anything like that. Like it can just be what um, serves you precisely in the moment that you created it, um, and it doesn't have to
Yes.
be anything more. Um, uh, and I think that you'll find with time that the more that you do art just because it's a thing that humans do, one, you're just inevitably going to get more practice. Two, uh, you'll probably be informed enough as to why you do it that you'll actually be able to like analyze your own like art making process and like figure out what you get from it. And like, and it is also true that more often than not, the most impactful pieces of art are is the art that people originally make for themselves with no concept of like I'm gonna show this to someone else. Like I mean, the main
Mm-hmm.
example I think of here is the song "Here Comes a Thought," which is a song that's on an episode of Steven Universe. Um,
Yes.
it the song can essentially be boiled down to like it's like the dialectical behavioral therapy like approach to mindfulness like in song form.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Rebecca Sugar had originally written that for themselves, like just to help them help themselves like get through uh like mental troubles they were dealing with and like just abilities to like process their own thoughts, and it was something that they had to like sing to themselves to like kind of get those concepts in. And in the end like you have this incredibly like emotionally effective song that like I've been in some of my like lowest lows, and I mean I haven't listened to the song in a while, but like I had some like low points in like 2016 2017 where I would listen to that song and it would like save me from my own mind. um
Mm, okay.
and uh and like I recently had my ex in who is still a friend of mine in Minnesota messaged me on Instagram saying that they had been having like a really hard time recently, and coming back to that song had also helped them keep afloat. So I think reconceiving of art not as this like thing that like I have to compose myself really well because I know that people are going to me and listening to me and judging me based on the um, nature of this uh, thing I'm creating. Rather, think of it as a tool. Um, like it is a tool that you use to accomplish a specific thing. Nobody's going to look at a
Mm-hmm.
fucking hammer and say I can't dance to this. Like it doesn't fucking matter. Like it's a hammer. You don't dance to it. You don't dance to a hammer,
I can't
guy.
dance to this hammer.
Like you can't dance to this fucking hammer. Come on. But like yeah. So I think just my advice would be, um, yeah, I don't know you, but I care about you. I hope you uh, care about yourself enough that even if it's just these like cloudy scribbles that don't look like a fucking like anything. Like I was saying earlier about like my approach, like a lot of my visual approach is just fucking making the mark on the paper, like expressing my emotion with a sharpie, like as if the paper were like my arch nemesis and the sharpie was like a fucking sword or something. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not always angry, but like, but just using it to like feel the texture of your surface um and really reconnect with your with your body and with um yeah, just uh
Make it a
art is a
visceral
tool.
experience. Yeah. Make it a.
Or yeah, it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't even necessarily need to be visceral. Maybe after you do a practice for long enough you start learning how to be more intentional.
Right.
It just
Mm-hmm.
starts with knowing that art is not this special thing reserved for the virtuosic.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
Maria
something that, yeah, it's
Caputo
only a human.
echoes your comments, saying you don't have to share all the art you make. It's still real art. And also adds that the floor in airspace was always so dirty. So I'm glad my shoes were clean this time. Um, again, Leah, thank you so much for being here. Also, just want to mention, did you have a song on guitar? Because I don't want to rob you of that time if you wanted to perform that song.
Oh,
You're more than welcome to do that if
I
you want to.
can play a song on guitar.
Would you
Um,
like to?
oh, actually, yeah. Oh, I can play this song that I wrote recently. That's I mean, it's a little corny, but like it. I wrote it after. I was processing like my old trans mentor's death, and just kind of like the things that, like, I don't know, being trans in the world does to you. But I mean, she also had her own shit going on, irrespective of her transness. Um, yeah, I don't know. The song speaks for itself. It's
Okay.
yeah, yeah, little schmaltzy, but it's called "When You Love." When you love those the world loves least, you can't expect to find too much peace. When you love those the world loves least, you'll end up taking a lot of responsibility. When you love those the world loves least, you'll be in good, albeit small, company. When you love those the world loves least. If there is a God, she smiles upon it, and sometimes that's enough for me. Yeah, that was that.
Thank you so much for that. And I also want to say thank you for being so vulnerable on stream, sharing some
Oh,
moments that might have been traumatic. But also thank
yeah,
you for all the lighthearted
of course.
moments and riffing with me. I feel like I'm
Yeah,
on caliber
the
with someone
lighthearted
with
and the
my own.
traumatic always
Yeah,
come hand in hand.
always blending it
Yeah,
together. You are always welcome back on the stream. Um,
I would love to come back to that. Yeah,
hell yeah. All right. Have a great night, Leah.
yeah.
And thank you so much, everyone, for
You too.
watching. I'm going to be sending you all off over to Last Lost Girl. She is doing a Just Chatting stream, and she always makes me feel welcome and warm hearted. So we're going to send you over to there. Before that, I'll send you off with a little bit more of Leah's music. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
picnic baskets, poison